Hi, I'm Angela Nicholson, head of the photography testing team, and today I'm going to take a look at Nikon's latest full-frame SLR, the D750. Nikon has used a new 24.3 million pixel CMOS sensor inside the D750, and unlike the 36 million pixel sensor in the D810, it has an anti-aliasing or low-pass filter. This sensor is coupled with Nikon's latest Expeed 4 processing engine. This combination enables a native sensitivity range of ISO 100 to 12,800, with expansion settings taking this to ISO 50 to 51,200. It's also possible to shoot at up to 6.5 frames per second, which is pretty fast, but some sports photographers may have been hoping for 8 frames per second or more. Nikon has given the D750 an updated version of the AF system that's inside the D810, and this means that there are 51 AF points, 15 of which are the more sensitive cross type, and 11 that operate down to f8. This is good news for photographers who want to use an extender with their telephoto lenses. There's also the new Group Area AF mode, which we've found in the past does a good job of keeping moving subjects sharp in continuous AF mode. Exposure metering is handled by a 91,000 pixel RGB-W sensor, and there's a useful highlight metering option, which is calibrated to take greater note of the brightest part of the scene to prevent it from being burned out. Keen videographers will appreciate the ability to record full HD video at up to 60p, as well as the microphone port, headphone port, audio level fine-tuning, spot white balance mode, flat picture control mode, and zebra patterns to indicate which areas are in danger of burning out. And for those wanting the very best results, the D750 can output uncompressed footage via an HDMI connection to an external recorder. Anyone who's used the D610 will notice that the D750 is very similar in appearance and layout. There are a few differences, however. The mode dial on top, for instance, has an option to access the 7 JPEG-only special effects modes. I'm not really a fan of Nikon's filter effects, and the fact that you can't shoot a RAW file simultaneously means I'm even less inclined to use them. On the back of the camera, the control layout is very similar to the D610s, but the info button is here, and the live view button and switch have been moved down to here. The function of a couple of the buttons to the left of the LCD screen has also changed in comparison with the D610, and the bottom one is now an eye for information control. As on other Nikon SLRs, pressing this button reveals a selection of features for adjustment, but they're arranged in a list rather than a grid. I can't understand why there are customization options in this quick access menu. Surely it would be better to access these via the main customization menu, leaving space here for things like exposure delay that you might want on a shot-by-shot basis. In other respects, the D750 handles very well, and key features are within easy reach. The 3.2-inch 1.229 million dot screen, which is the same as the one in the D810, also provides a very clear view and is mounted on a tilting bracket, which, as well as being helpful for video, makes composing landscape format images easier. The viewfinder is also pretty bright and shows 100% of the lens field of view. Because the D750 has a Wi-Fi system built in, it's possible to compose images on a smartphone screen using Nikon's wireless utility app. This is really useful for avoiding camera shake, but the level of control is limited to just AF point selection and setting the self-timer. It's not possible to adjust exposure. You can also transfer images to the phone to allow them to be shared via email and on social networking sites. As we have found with the D810, the D750's AF system is excellent, and it performs really well even in low light. I also found the metering system extremely capable, even managing to deliver correctly exposed images in some situations when I might have expected to need the exposure compensation. It's not completely infallible. I've yet to find a metering system that is, but it's certainly very good. Not surprisingly, given the difference in pixel count, the D750 can't resolve as much detail as the D810, but it is at least a match for the D610, and at some sensitivity settings it records just a little more. The images also look very natural, have great colour, and noise is controlled really well. I'm particularly impressed by the results produced in the monochrome picture control mode, when the clarity control is pushed to the maximum setting. It does a great job of bringing out detail without overemphasising high contrast edges. And of course the picture control modes can be used when shooting RAW files simultaneously with JPEGs. So in summary, apart from a couple of handling niggles, I'm really impressed with the D750. I think it's a great choice of SLR for enthusiast photographers. For more information about the Nikon D750, take a look at my review on techradar.com.